the defense.
Welcome to Split the Defense, Leafs post-game presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. Proud member of the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm Webby with CP and producer Ted in the booth. Thumbs up this episode, subscribe to our YouTube, leave us a comment, and catch us in podcast form anywhere you listen to podcasts. Game 17, Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa Senators, Battle of Ontario, final score 3-0. And to be God fucking honest with you, I wish that Ridley Gregg would have just slapped one in the back of the net again so we had something more fun to talk about than this stupid hockey game.
I honestly, the exact same
that's where
thought,
I'm
man.
at.
I had the exact same thought when it came down to the open net of 5 minutes. I was like, wow, this could get exciting. And it didn't.
Yeah, no, it sucked. It sucked. People said the Battle of Ontario is dead, but the Sens beat them for the 4th time in their last 5 meetings. There isn't a Battle of Ontario because the Leafs fucking refuse to show up to it. You gotta show up to be in the battle. Otherwise, they're just like watching, just like we are. So if you're not going to put the effort in, no, there isn't going to be a Battle of Ontario. Battle of Ontario. You know, I defended that shit today on the internet.
Nice.
Yeah, great.
How's that
Battle
feel
of
now?
Ontario. Yeah, stupid. I feel really stupid. So 17 games in now, shut out twice with a new coach after a 3-season streak of not being shut out. Should we read into that?
I don't know. That's an interesting stat. I would read into that a little bit, actually. I don't know why, because like this team is better on defense. They've got better goaltending. But the offense is kind of part of the, the sacrifice, I guess you'd say. But things are supposed to be more direct, but it is about playing like a more structured, sound game. So I don't know. I don't think the system was the problem. It was that nobody went to the friggin' net tonight. So just basically every shot was either from the outside or just like an uninterested attempt. So yeah, I don't know. There's just little guts in the game tonight. It's like, honestly, I feel a little bit like they've put it all out there for 2 games playing without Matthews. Or 3 or 4? No, 3. I forget now. 4 games, actually, maybe now.
Is it 4 games now?
I don't know. Or maybe this is the 4th.
Feels like forever.
Yeah. Honestly, it might be you're just putting it all out there. Like, they just didn't show up tonight. There's nothing in the gas tank. I don't know. It was also they let one in so
That's
quickly.
not a good sign. We got a back-to-back. With
Yeah,
travel. Nothing in the gas tank. And we're 17 games in. These are
man.
professional athletes making millions of dollars a year. Nothing in the gas tank. That's
Didn't
not a
you
good
look
sign,
like it?
CP.
No, it's definitely. Don't you agree, though? Like,
It looked like a bunch of guys who were out in the parking lot having pints and met for the first time, went in and played their first game of beer league shinny. It was just like the throw together team, the Misfits tonight. They couldn't get shit dick all going. They didn't even look like the same team. Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is like a totally different beast. Like it's not even on the same planet.
yeah, part of it, too, is like when you let in a goal so quickly, it's deflating, obviously. But like that can't be the end of the game, like 40 seconds into the game. Riley made a brutal play. I don't know why he's jumping up with 2 forwards like right on it, like he's climbing up their butts, and it's like it was a clear chance and like just settle into the game a little bit. It's the first minute. You don't have to go 4 on 4 or 4 on 3 right off the hop. Like just ease into it. And
I mean, I
don't know.
get that too, but Willie was playing with the puck at the line, and he easily could have just dumped it in. Like you said, it was like 30 seconds into the game. Get it deep. Play with it down there. Like, wear them down a little bit. Everybody's fresh. Like, you don't need to... Chances are you're going to get hung up at the beginning. I don't know. He probably should have not played with it there, but also, I didn't like Domi on that play. Domi jumps out of the way instead of getting down for a block. Just get the fuck out of the way then. You were in Stolar's way, just as far as I'm concerned. Like, if you're not going to get down for a block, then don't be there. Like, he literally, like, dodged it like a dodgeball. Like, that's not the point. Like, I see a lot of that from Max Domi. I'm seeing a lot of the poor defense we've talked about in the past, which really wasn't so apparent in the past. it didn't bite so much, but you can see him a lot. He does a lot of the, reaching with his stick instead of getting there, and stupid shit like he did tonight. And not blocking a puck when it's literally going to hit you and you move out of the way. Like, it's not like I'm asking you to dive face first down in front of everybody's shot, but I mean, like, if a shot's gonna hit you in the skates, let it fucking hit your skates.
Yeah, especially when you have Chris Staniff on your team that just like is willing to take one off the face. I mean, yeah, you should at least be able to take one off the ankle. Of course, it hurts. But
you can't leave it all on Chris Tanev.
No, but that's what I mean. It looks even worse when you've got guys on your team that are willing to do it. Like chip in a little bit. And he's supposed to be one of the guys that gets this Battle of Ontario thing. And I heard all of the stories today about it's all dead. There's just no competition, and the only one of them's in the playoffs. And it's like, well,
but that's not the one that shows up during the regular season when they play 3 or 4 or 5 times, or however many times it is. Like, no, it never is. The Sens are, like, historically, I don't know whether it's just because I don't like losing to the Sens, but, like, I always cringe when we got to play the Sens. I'm like, oh, they're going to play like shit tonight. You just feel it. They're going to play like shit every single time they play the Senators. They get up for Habs games. There's a rivalry there, and they get up for those. Is it like they're just trying to prove so bad that they're on another level that they're just going to be good all season and only play good against the Sens? On the reverse of that, I always, like, every year coming up to now, I've always watched the Sens just crush the Leafs early in the season and then tried to bet on them the next game and like, oh, the Sens look good, they're hot. And then they're just fucking dog shit terrible for like the next 3 weeks. So they only get up for the Leafs, or like the Leafs only sit down for the Sens. Like, what is it?
I mean, the Sens are playing a little bit better this year, like against everybody, than they have been in the last couple. So like I do think they're kind of pushing to make the playoffs this year, especially because like the Atlantic just isn't as strong. It's obvious Boston and Tampa just aren't quite the same beast as they were, and and I feel like they're maybe on the same level as the Leafs, and you can fight your way into a spot. So not the Sens. I mean, like Tampa, like it feels like they're more in the same boat. So
I was gonna say,
yeah, sorry, it wasn't clear, but yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like the Sens, they have a better shot they did last year, but yeah, it does seem like like Justin points out, it's Montreal and Ottawa that we get shut out for, and it's just like, yeah, it stings even more. And yeah, part of the Ottawa thing to me is because I've seen more games live against Ottawa than anyone, and it's because it's like 6-0. Like I've only seen them play the Sens because I don't bother going to Toronto to see a game. I go to Ottawa to see a game. So
when they shit the bed, they shit the whole bed, all over the bed. When they're gonna play these guys. Like I looked up the stats today, and I was like, last 10 games, I'm like, oh, that's not so bad. Last 20 games, okay, that's still not so bad, which is like a decent sample size, right? But it's like critical times when they're losing, right? Like it's like in the last 6 or 8 games, it's been worse than it has been in a long time, right?
Yeah, it's recency bias.
That's where I'm feeling it. Yeah, it's the recency bias, right?
Yeah,
and it's that's where I'm feeling all this is just like losing to the Sens sucks because it seems to happen more often and more often, and it's not a team you should lose against because they go on to play terribly for the rest of the year. And like I know you say they're maybe picking it up this year, and that may be different.
Slightly.
But this is just a pre-notioned feeling that I came into the game with. Like this game, I mean, if they would have won, I maybe wouldn't have gotten into it. But like I already felt this way when we went into this game. But I'd like to ask, how much of this game do you give credit to just Allmark for being Linus Allmark?
Not much. Yeah.
No?
Yeah, sorry.
You don't think you worked that hard?
No, I just, the Leafs just weren't in the middle of the ice. There was nothing in the slot. There was no bumping into the goalie and making something happen. There was also just like nothing going on throughout the entire ice surface. Like they didn't forecheck very well. They didn't backcheck very well. They got hemmed in their own end a lot.
But they paycheck just fucking fine.
Yeah. I mean, the paychecks just arrived. No question.
Just fine.
Yeah.
No forecheck, no backcheck.
But yeah, full paycheck. That's for sure. Yeah, I honestly, any goalie could have been in there and they could have had a shot of a shutout. Really, I mean, Allmark, hats off to the goalie. But yeah, no, I don't really think that it's like a, stole one by the goalie.
I mean, Linus Ullmark is pretty fucking good. I will give him that.
Oh, he is. Yeah, no question.
I think I asked you this last show. I might not have, might have skipped it, but like I don't even know who this team is. Do you know what team is going to show up tomorrow night? Is it going to be the team that beats Boston or Tampa, or is it going to be this team that we saw tonight and the one that loses to Columbus? Do you have any idea, or is it still like what identity is this team? Are they like a? I mean, it's not. The thing is it's not close.
No, it is like a Jekyll and Hyde scenario, and
very polar opposites.
Yeah, you go into tonight and like the stories. I bet you half the reporters had their stories half written before they even came into it, because like this is one of those games, like you could probably bet on them not showing up. It's a Tuesday. We're playing in Ottawa, and yeah, I don't know. It is you never really know. Yeah, and like you said, like the team that shows up when they're good is really good. So it is like you can almost instantly tell what team you're going to get, because you can just see it in their feet. Like if the feet are moving, I feel like it's a really good team. If they're a little bit of a step behind, like they just look like such a slow team and aren't able to do anything. And like just effort levels just drop, like just even in the defensive zone, just like not making a full effort on plays and things. So.
And is that potentially because you think they're maybe like they were gassed their last back-to-back, which is still pretty fresh in the memory? Do you think that they maybe held back a little bit tonight so that way they could try and take both?
I mean, I don't know. That's
obviously near the end, and then maybe by the third goal, they weren't holding back anymore. And the funny thing is you did see them turn it on for a little while after that.
Yeah, the third period was their best period, I thought. And I mean, that is also how it normally goes when a team is defending or protecting a lead. Like they typically lose the period, just because like there's a lot of dumping in. They're not forechecking as hard because they want to be on the right side of the puck. So that's a little bit of Ottawa just honestly playing it the right way. But like I don't know about the whole like they foot off the gas. Like that's a really bad mentality. You should just be able to put in the work for 2 days and then recover for the 2 days after that. That's just like.
But in the back of your mind, you got to wonder.
You got to wonder, right? Yeah, and like they are human, they are going to kind of think about last time and what it looked like. So, yeah. Who do we play tomorrow?
Washington.
Who started the season really hot. So, that'll be interesting.
Washington.
Also a really heavy team. They're a heavy team that will kind of bang the body. So that'll be tough.
Yeah, and Alex Ovechkin's trying to break records here, so
Let's start. What just was thrown on the screen there. Justin said they also had different lines every 2 shifts tonight, and like
I did see something through that unnatural stat trick. There was a whole lot of combinations. He was definitely throwing things in the blender tonight.
Even before that, though, like Holmberg took the first penalty of the game, and he wasn't on the right shift. Like JT missed a shift for some reason, and then like instead of just putting someone in that, he just bumped everybody up. And so then like, Domi was playing with also Willie, and then Holmberg ended up in Domi's spot, and then that's when Holmberg took the penalty. There was like the weirdest lines tonight. I felt that a lot. And then
I saw Nyes with Kampf and Lawrence, I think at one point.
Once we got halfway through the second period, we just got the blender. Like it was the good old fashioned Keefe blender where there was just everything was getting thrown at the wall. And yeah, I'm not sure if someone got benched, but definitely lots of line combinations.
Speaking of Keefe, something we talked about at the beginning, which I never got my point into, is Sheldon Keefe. This whole shutout thing. I think the difference between this coach and Sheldon Keefe is that you've said multiple times Sheldon Keefe wanted to win every single game, and he didn't care about bad habits and he's gonna let this Berube's gonna let this team rot. He's going to say, if you're not going to play the right way, we're not going to jack up anything. We're not going to. Now he did, like he said, throw everything in the blender, like we were just talking about, but it wasn't the same play the studs for the whole time. Now he is missing a big horse in Austin Matthews, right? But I did think that tonight. I wondered, like, I wonder if he's just thinking, like, no, I'm not going to throw out a super offensive line right now to bail you guys out. Like, when he put out the three, put out Matthews, Marner, and Nylander kind of thing. But I mean, even if he did that with JT tonight, I'm not sure how much that would have done. I'm pretty sure they probably tried that.
Yeah, I think like the only time he really did the load up, if you'll say, if it counts with JT, then it was just when they pulled the goalie for the first time. I don't think I saw it any time before that, unless obviously a power play. But yeah, you don't. I agree. You don't get the same feeling of like we're still trying to win this and come back, and we're just gonna run the guys out there for 25 minutes, and Marner's gonna play almost 30. You're not seeing that. So you almost see it the opposite, where like Nick Robertson plays more. Like Holmberg gets more shifts, and I don't know. Maybe that's a good way of developing your team. We'll see. Well,
I was wondering, when you see like a Pontus Holmberg and Matthew Nyes and Connor Dewar line flip over the board, and you're like, what is happening right now? Why are we doing this? But all right, like before you would have ridden probably the guys who are making all the money, and that's just the way that it was. I think that's a big difference between this coach and that coach. The Leafs pulled the goalie with 2.2 seconds left in the first period. It was. And I wish that more teams did this more often, because Ted can vouch for me. I do this in Chell all the time to get an extra skater on the ice. What do you think the chances are you lose the face-off and the puck goes into your net in 2.2 seconds?
Yeah, definitely not good. What does it really accomplish? Because I just feel like it clogs up the middle a little too much for a point shot. Like, what's the advantage of having an extra guy in there?
Boxing, everybody becomes defensive, and they all take a guy, and that everybody boxes somebody out, and then there's one open guy left.
Yeah, just like in 2 seconds though, you're like, it's like you're either doing the Matthews
drop
play
the puck,
forward,
shot and poke. I don't know. I think you see some crazier shit.
Yeah, I just
Even
feel like
how. So let's get into this. How much time would there have to be, do you think, for it to be effective?
I don't know, like 5 seconds. But then at that point,
that's dangerous.
Yeah, and then at that point though, is it like too dangerous to do it? I don't know, because I just feel like there's only a couple plays when you have that little of time that's really effective, and it's like either a snap quick back to a point shot, or it's a play forward, or a direct shot off the faceoff, try and get a rebound. I guess for that case, there's more bodies in front to maybe get a second swat at it. But I just like when Patrick Waugh, I think it was, pulled the goalie with who was it? Or maybe it was I forget actually what coach it was at the time that did it, but pulled the goalie for the first time with 8 minutes left.
It was Patrick Waugh.
Yeah. Right. And so, I just love that, it was something different. Everyone thought he was crazy, but it worked and it was cool. And yeah, the more that you can kind of think outside the box, the better. So.
Yeah, well, they pulled the goalie for 5 minutes tonight. That did not work at all.
They wouldn't have done that before Patrick Waugh, though. They would have waited for the 1 minute. I think he changed the game.
2 minutes. Yeah, that's fair. Maybe. Yeah, possibly. So they were booed off the ice after the second period. How do you feel about that? The fans showing up at the game and booing their team off the ice.
Yeah, we get into booing a few times here on the show, and I'm always just pro boo. I just if whatever fans want to do, they paid their ticket. If you want to, sing Shania Twain while you're there,
show up in the opposite team's jersey for every home game.
Yeah, hey,
you're cool with that. I didn't like those guys.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Oh,
okay. I think that's cool. Yeah,
and I just split the defense. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.
No, maybe I am in the minority here, but I just think that anything that you can show your fandom. And the stronger, the better. And maybe it's just part of me that I'm kind of a boring fan when I'm at a game. I cheer and I scream, but I'm not into the wave and stuff like that. But I just just fan out. And if you're angry at your team, boo at them. Maybe they'll do something. But I don't know. They get paid so much money, they can take a boo. Come on.
Yeah, they can take a boo. Yeah, I guess. It's just not the whole fucking point you're there. So I'm a little bit on the other side of that. Yeah. Matthew Nyes skated in his 100th career NHL game tonight. So that is the third player that I've announced just this season has skated in their 100th NHL game tonight. Did you realize that? And then now one of those players wasn't even Nick Robertson. So we have four guys who played under 100.
Oh, but Nick Robertson did play his 100th this season.
Did he? Has he played it yet?
Yeah, he just did. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw an interview of him where they were talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I didn't know until other people congratulated me about it." But the crazy thing that on this point that I thought of was like how long Nick Robertson's been around. We've been talking about his name, and how long Matthew Nyes has been around and talking about his name. It's like, wow, one guy got there way quicker. But I mean, it's maybe it's a marathon for Robertson, but it seems like Nyes is sprinting to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to shit on that guy too much, but like the Robertson experiment, how much longer does that go for?
I'm done with it. Like, I just don't even care at this point. I mean, the one thing is I don't hate him on the lineup because he does kind of, he chips the puck out well. He's kind of a gets in there type of a player. Not always in the most effective way, but at least the effort's there. So I'm not like pissed off at him throughout the game or anything, but I just feel like the dream of that guy scoring 25 goals is just like gone. Like, I don't know.
Well,
maybe one day he will. Yeah, maybe one day he will figure it out and he'll be a 15 to 25 goal scorer, but just like I think he's not a great third line guy. He's definitely not a fourth line guy, and we're like just full up the lineup. And you don't want to push him up, obviously. So yeah. Just
I don't think he's good enough to keep up on the top six. Like, he's not good against the best competition. He's not.
No. Like, yeah, I think that he's hopefully could just be part of a package to get someone in on the third line center, and then we're not comparing like we got this exactly. We can be like Nick Robertson and something else went out the door for this, and it's like everyone's
But why
happy
would
with
anybody else want Nick Robertson if he ain't doing shit here?
That's why I say him and someone else, because I think he's a sweetener for a trade.
And that third round pick we just got for Liljegren and
yeah, or something better, like Fraser Minton. If you could get someone who's just a few years ahead in the progression, you could maybe get something going there. So there is a little bit of especially when Matthews is out, it's like center depth is just horrendous on this team. Yeah, there's a lot of guys you can throw in there, but it's just none of them do it well.
No, you don't have another just guy. Like, I mean, John Tavares is past his prime. Like, he's done. Like, he's not the number one center anymore. He's a number one center on a bottom half team, on a fringe playoff team, and that's seeming to be what this fucking team seems to look like. Austin Matthews isn't having an Austin Matthews season, and right now he's not even here. Hopefully, when he comes back, that all changes.
Yeah, I do like John Tavares' game still. He's obviously overpaid. There's not even a debate, but I do think
he's
that
not a number one C. Even if he made $6 million, you can't convince me he's a number one C.
No, I was never gonna say that. I just think that I like his game as like a second line center. I just think that there's a huge hole as the third line center, and when you miss Matthews, it's just very, very glaring. So, yeah,
it's unfortunate. So OEL was force feeding Pinto his glove tonight. He might as well have thrown it in a blender and put it in a bottle for the guy or something. Is OEL a bit nuts, or is it right on par for you?
I mean, he's perfect for me. Maybe for some people he's a little bit crazy, but I mean that's a greasy play, it does not feel nice getting your head bashed against the ice like that.
And that's not the first time I've seen OEL do that.
No. I didn't like OEL's game at all tonight, but I did like that, he had a little bit in the tank for that type of play, which is more important. Like, that is a play like Pinto's, you got to give them a little bit of grace when your goalie comes out, but it wasn't a play where the goalie and Pinto are both making a play on the puck at the same time, so I just thought it was necessary to do something. It got a little greasier than maybe it needed to be, but mission accomplished. Greasier the better if you get away with it.
Yeah, it was pretty close to cross checks in the face. He fed him his glove and was cross checking him pretty good around the collarbone area.
Mm-hmm.
So
better
greasy,
than
dirty
the Morgan Riley.
I love OEL for that. I love that side of it. But it is borderline, very borderline of what you want in a sport. right? Like, I'm happy to have it on my team.
And like, if we're talking about in general about sports that we like want kids to play, then like, yeah, I mean, that's a whole other discussion. Is that what I want on my team in the playoffs this year? 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're on the same page with that. All right.
Yeah.
You got anything else to rant about this game here?
I don't think so. Other than I was just kind of happy that Stolarz didn't get totally lit up tonight. Like, he recovered really well, I thought. His stats looked horrible after the first shot, and they didn't look great after like a period. But he kept making the saves and kept his head in it. So yeah, good to see. He definitely wants one of those back. Did not make a good play on the 2-on-1 where like the guy just skated in and took a shot, and he just didn't make a save on it. And there's another play too. I think this is not a detriment to Stolarz, but there was a play where he makes a save off his like upper half somewhere, and the puck goes up, and I feel like he thought it went out of play, but it didn't. And so he's like looks over at the ref, and then he just like looks out where like the puck is now on an Ottawa Senators stick, and he has to like really get over to the corner to make a save. And I was like, I'm pretty sure he thought that puck went out of play, and we almost had a fourth goal. So actually, I guess that would have been the third because this was late in the first period. But I thought it was he almost snoozed on one there. So, but yeah, good to see that he had an okay game overall. Didn't get like a 6-goal game.
Yeah. Coaster Gamer Guy Cats, thanks, Maddie. We appreciate that. Liked, shared, and subbed this live stream. So Miller's got odds on Holmberg wearing a neck guard next game. Was that a little freaky or what?
Yeah, there's a few of them actually tonight that I got a little freaked out on. Another swinging skate, which I'm not sure who it was, but yeah, Holmberg. Yeah, as the neck protectors get easier to wear, they're not just this bulky strap that you have to put over your Adam's apple. I think that they should be worn more. And like, I just don't see why guys won't. Like, I'm not sure it needs to be mandated, but it's just like the little turtlenecks that you can wear. Like, let's all be Plekanec from now on. Let's just do it.
Yeah, it's just a whole league full of Plekanec. I mean, it's definitely safer. And the last thing that I ever want to hear about ever again is a guy getting his throat cut with a skate. That is just the scariest and worst thing. We just don't need it. Just wear the damn thing. And I know this is probably the exact same argument that we've had last year on the show, but it's like the helmet thing. It's going to be here one day, and I can't wait for it as a person who cringes at something like that. It just hard to see. Glad nothing happened. John Tavares was interviewed after the game, and he said we should be disappointed. I mean, we can say we can wash this one, but I think it's disappointing just the way we've been playing over the past week.
How many can you wash in a season? I feel like they've already said that like 4 times. So I don't know. Every loss can't be a wash. You need to lose with some dignity.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, especially after the great week they played, right? And like playing like this tonight, it's like completely 2 totally different teams.
Yeah.
So we see them tomorrow against the Capitals. Any expected changes for that? Who do we got? Did anybody sit tonight? What was the lineup? Did we miss anybody? I'm so out of tune for that.
Like Dewar came in because Pacioretty came out. And
so what do we got left? Steve's. Alex.
Oh yeah, Steve's got called
up.
His
debut tomorrow night.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen Steve's enough times. I know what you get with that guy. It's not exciting. I mean, he fills a role as a 4th line left winger, I guess. No, that guy and the funny thing is too is like Steve scores a lot of goals for the Marlies. But you're just never gonna put him in that opportunity, and the chances of scoring from the 4th is just not great. But even though they were our best line tonight,
1C. Max Domi looks like shit. Try him at 1C.
I mean, it honestly can't be that much worse. It probably wouldn't be worse on defense. It'd probably be better. Like how much can him and Marner connect? I'm not sure. But,
yeah, fair enough. All right, well, let's wrap this one up there. Thanks for joining us for Split the Defense, Leafs post game presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding area since 2004. Leave us a comment hit that like button, subscribe on YouTube, and listen to us in podcast form anywhere you listen to podcasts. Peace.
Follow the boys on Twitter at STDPWebby, at Craig D. Pearce, and at Ted_is_show.